Today we have a beautiful chess endgame study. White to move and white wins. Let's look at the position. White has a king on b2, a bishop on h4, and a passed pawn on a6. Black has a king on e5 and a rook on g1. At first glance, black looks active enough to hold the draw. The rook is ready to check and the promotion square looks difficult to reach. But white has a very precise idea. White begins with pawn to a7. This is the natural start. The pawn is now only one step away from promotion. Black responds with rook to g2 check. The rook becomes active immediately and tries to create counterplay with checks. White steps to a1. Black continues with rook to g1 check. This is an important moment. Black is testing white. If white gets careless here, the win can disappear. Now white finds the key defensive move, bishop to e1. This move blocks the check, but it does more than that. It keeps the bishop ready for the winning tactical idea that is coming next. Black now changes plans. Endless checking is not enough, so black plays rook to g8. That is a strong defensive move. From g8, the rook controls the promotion square on a8, and black has a clear idea here. If white wastes time, black will keep the pawn under control and the game can slip into a draw. After all, a lone bishop cannot force checkmate, so white must act immediately. And here comes the winning move, bishop to g3 check. This move is the heart of the entire study. It is not just a check, it is a tactical idea with a deeper point. If black simply moves the king, then white plays bishop to b8, and that is the real problem. From b8, the bishop blocks the rook's path along the 8th rank. The rook can no longer control a8, and the pawn will promote on the next move. So black cannot calmly move the king and hope to survive. Black understands the danger. That is why black chooses the most practical defense. Rook takes g3. The rook captures the bishop at once before bishop to b8 can happen. But now the rook has left g8, and that changes everything. The promotion square is no longer defended, so white plays pawn to a8, promotes to a queen, and wins. This is what makes the study so elegant. First, white pushes the pawn. Then white calmly blocks the check with bishop to e1. Black brings the rook to g8 to stop promotion. And finally, white uses bishop to g3 check to force the rook away from the 8th rank. Once the rook leaves, promotion is unstoppable. This is a perfect example of endgame interference. One bishop move changes the geometry of the whole board. If you enjoyed this endgame, like the video, subscribe, and tell me in the comments, would you have found bishop to g3 check?